Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are still currently within a sideways price range in the shorter term, but a new signal is now flashing in the short term for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I'll talk about later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still currently playing out this bearish divergence on the 4-day time frame, which is resulting in a lack in bullish momentum, at least in the shorter term. But with that being said, even though we are currently seeing reduced bullish momentum, technically speaking, this larger multi-month long bullish trend that we've seen since the beginning of this year is still currently active. And this is simply because the price of Bitcoin is technically still within a much larger higher low, higher high price structure, which is technically a bullish trend. And on top of that, if you're looking at the super trend indicator here on the 4-day time frame, this is still currently sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish trend, the complete opposite to what we saw during 2022. And in case you're wondering, the point of invalidation for this larger bullish trend on the larger time frames would be a confirmed break back below around $25,000. So basically, we would need to see at least a 4-day candle close, but ideally weekly candle closes back below 25k in order to actually reverse this larger bullish trend. Because if that actually happened, if we confirmed a break below 25k, first of all, that would reverse this super trend indicator from green back to red. And also, if we saw a confirmed break back below 25k, that would obviously be forming a new lower low, which is a sign of a trend reversal. But at least as of right now, once again, even though we have a lack in bullish momentum in the somewhat shorter term due to this bearish divergence, we have not seen those invalidation signals, which means technically we're basically taking a shorter term pause within a much larger bullish trend. And now if you're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, this short-term pause from the larger bullish trend looks a bit more like a short-term bearish trend, kind of like what we saw back here. And this is also caused by this bearish divergence on the daily time frame, which is still currently active, as I've been talking about basically every day over the last 1 month or so. So once again, as I've been saying on the channel, it's unlikely we're going to see any significant bullish momentum, at least in the short term, and instead we're likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a slight pullback in the price of Bitcoin, which obviously has been playing out as expected. And in order to flip much more bullish again in the shorter term, we would need to invalidate this bearish divergence by seeing at least a breakout in the RSI above this descending line of resistance, which as of right now obviously has not yet happened. So once again, as I've been saying on the channel, this bearish divergence is still currently active, so we should not be expecting a lot of bullish momentum. And now if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, at the time of recording this video, this is currently flipping back in the bearish direction, but with that being said, this is still showing very low momentum, as I've been saying basically every day over the last couple of weeks. So once again, we're likely going to see a relatively mild price action, nothing too significant, at least in the shorter term, which obviously has been playing out as expected. And now just staying on the daily Bitcoin chart, looking at this massive ascending line of support that started since the beginning of this year. And once again, as I've said recently on the channel as well, the price of Bitcoin is now testing this line of support, which is sitting at around $29,000. And so if history were to simply repeat and we were to see a similar thing to what we saw all of these other times where the price of Bitcoin ran into this same line of support, then it's possible we could begin a move back to the upside within the next 1 week or so if history were to repeat. But if this time is really different and we actually see a confirmed break below 29k, then in that case, obviously that would be a short-term bearish signal, basically telling us that we're likely going to continue this short-term bearish trend for at least the next 1 to 2 weeks if that happens. And now if you're zooming into the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, we still have the 38.2% Fibonacci level of support, which is sitting at around 28.9k to 29k approximately. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break below around 28.9k, then in that case, the next levels of support to pay attention to are this 50% retracement level at around 28,000 to 28.1k. And below that level, we have the golden pocket sitting in between around 27,000 to 27.2k. And as for short-term resistance, in case we see a bounce in the short term, then in that case, we still have strong resistance at around $30,000. And at least as of right now, while the price of Bitcoin is in between around 29k to 30k, we're basically in a choppy sideways price range, as I've been saying recently on the channel. But just staying on the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, looking at the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI, this is now breaking below this ascending line of support, which is technically invalidating this short-term bullish divergence here on the 8-hour time frame. And so what this actually means is that soon we could begin to see a little bit more bearish momentum show up in the short term now that this bullish divergence is invalidating. Because remember, this bullish divergence was basically counteracting the bearish divergence here on the daily time frame, which is why we've looked relatively neutral in the shorter term over the last 1 to 2 weeks or so. But if this bullish divergence is now invalidating on the 8-hour time frame, this means obviously we have no bullish divergence, but we still have that bearish divergence on the daily time frame, which once again means we could begin to see a little bit more bearish momentum show up in the short term. Now, obviously, we still have those levels of support to pay attention to in the short term as well, so don't forget about that. But if we start to see a break back below around 28.9k with strong confirmation, like multiple candle closes below that level, then it's likely we're going to continue this shorter term bearish trend, and it's likely we're going to see something similar to what we saw back here during around May and June. But remember, even that occurred within that much larger bullish trend, because obviously here on the much larger time frames, this only looks like a small pullback within a larger bullish trend. But it's only when you zoom into some slightly smaller time frames, it looks more like a short-term bearish trend. So that's basically the situation we are in right now. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, the price of ETH is running into this important area of support, sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. And if you're looking at the daily Ethereum price oscillators, right now, the daily Ethereum RSI is still looking relatively neutral, but it is potentially starting to flip a little bit more bearish if we confirm this new lower low. And if you're looking at the daily Ethereum MACD, as of right now, this is also potentially crossing back in the bearish direction. We have not yet confirmed that bearish cross, but either way, as of right now, this is still currently showing very low momentum. So even if we do confirm this bearish cross again in the MACD, we should not necessarily expect a massive movement in the short term. And instead, like I've been saying over the last couple of weeks, we're likely going to see relatively mild price action, nothing too significant. And now, if you're zooming into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, right now the price of ETH is running into the 50% retracement level, acting as support, sitting at around 1820 to 1830. But if we end up seeing a confirmed break below around 1820 with confirmation, like multiple candle closes confirming that break to the downside, then in that case, we have the golden pocket acting as support, sitting in between around 1760 to 1770. And below the golden pocket, we have the 78.6% Fibonacci level of support, sitting at around 1710. And as for shorter term resistance, in case we see a bit of a bounce here, then in that case, we still have this level of resistance at around 1870 to 1880. And in a more bullish scenario, if we actually confirm a breakout above 1880, then in that case, we also have resistance up here at around 1930. But at least for now, while the price of ETH is still in between around 1820 to 1880, we're basically in a choppy sideways price range, as I've been talking about recently on the channel. But if you're zooming into the 6-hour ETH to US dollar chart, not too long ago, just a few days ago, we recently had a short-term bullish divergence playing out here on the 6-hour time frame. But right now, as of recording this video, this short-term bullish divergence is technically invalid, because obviously we have now seen a confirmed break below this ascending line of support here in the 6-hour Ethereum RSI. So technically speaking, this is a shorter term bearish signal telling us that we no longer have a short-term bullish divergence here on the chart, which basically means we could potentially soon resume that short-term bearish trend that we've been seeing over the last 1 month or so. And the resumption of this short-term bearish trend will likely confirm if we confirm a break below that 50% retracement level of support that I just mentioned. So once again, at least for now, we're still looking relatively neutral while the price is in this sideways price range. But if we confirm a break below that support, then that is basically the signal that we are resuming this short-term bearish trend. But remember, this does not necessarily invalidate the much larger bullish trend that we see on the much larger timeframes. And now, if you want to know how to maximize your profits in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.